When I moved to Germany 14 years ago, nobody told me anything about health insurance. Back in India, it was still a new concept. But here, it's mandatory from day one. And the part that always confused me and still confuses most expats is private health insurance. So, today I have brought in Andreas, who knows this inside out. Let's go. Hello, Andreas. Welcome to Globe Pravasi podcast. Thank you so much for your time. So, could you please tell us what you do?
Hi, Shalendra. Thanks for the invite. What I'm doing is I founded my own company with some other professionals, and we are covering all the financial topics in Germany, like insurance, private healthcare insurance. We are talking about today,
Yeah.
real estate financing, wealth management, and such things. Yeah.
Okay. So, Andreas, my first question would be what is the difference between the public health insurance and private health insurance?
Okay, perfect. That's a good question. Yeah, I can answer this short or long.
Yeah.
Biggest difference is not everybody in Germany is allowed to take the private healthcare insurance.
okay.
Yeah, you need to earn at least 77.4
Yes.
K gross a year
Yes.
to be allowed to change to the private healthcare insurance.
Yeah.
And then obviously you get better service, better coverage, and lower premiums. Yeah. And this is the positives. Yeah. The negatives is if you bring your family here and your wife is a housewife and you have some kids. Yeah. They are not covered in the same system. You need to make their own contract on this, and this could be costly, but it's depending on the situation, the personal
So
situation.
it's the basic difference is like in public health insurance, your family is most of the time covered automatically. In private health insurance, you have to make additional contracts so that your family is also covered.
Yeah. I can explain this easily. Yeah, if you're working here and you're paying, everybody is forced to pay in the public healthcare insurance. Yeah, and if you're paying your by your salary the premiums, your wife and your children, if they are not working here, are covered. Yeah, with your premium per month. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you're now switching to the private system, you need to make the own contract for your wife and for your kids, or you can choose to be in the public system, but then you need to pay extra premium for that. Yeah.
And also we were talking previously that if you don't visit a doctor for a year, then you get the refund.
This is the biggest pro. Yeah, mostly people who take the private healthcare insurance, they are working a lot, earning good money here in Germany, and they don't have time to go to the doctors like the good real Germans. No, jokes beside, if you don't go to the doctors, most insurance contracts in the private healthcare insurance come with a refund. That means whether a couple of hundred or even thousands of euros, but it's depending on the contract you're choosing.
So, Andreas, in your opinion, when does it make sense to switch from public health insurance to private health insurance?
So that's an individual case for everybody who's thinking about taking this decision. It makes sense if you want to save up some money in the premium. For example, if you're now at the top, for your monthly premium, so that you're allowed to, as explained before, to switch to the private system, you always need to be aware of that your maximum premium is combined with the LTC, the long-term care insurance. And the maximum you're paying from in the system in Germany is 1,199 euros a month. So if you combine these two premium, and if you switch to the private system, you also switch the LTC to the private system. And then if you're single, and you want to have good service or good coverage in the private system, your premium is, I'd say, 750 or so. That
So
means,
almost 400 euros.
that's 400 euros or even above. What you could save up if you're single. If you're having children or having your wife not working at home, it's an individual case.
Yeah.
to check if it makes sense to switch or not.
Okay. So, Andreas, is it true that once you switch from public health insurance to private health insurance, you cannot move back to public health insurance?
That's true, yeah, if you stick with your salary. For example, you're earning, I make easy numbers, yeah, you're earning 100 or 90 or 80, whatever, yeah, a year gross, and you take the decision to switch to the private system, you can't switch back, yeah. But if you're taking a new job or you're, for example, going on part-time, yeah, because of reasons, whatever, yeah, you get forced back to the public system because you're below the level where you're allowed to switch to the private system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say if someone, due to some reasons, any reason can be possible, he had to do the part-time, due to that he switched to the public health insurance, or I have to switch back to the public health insurance. And let's say again he decides to get a job and he gets job of 100K, then can he stay in public health insurance, or he will have to switch back to private health insurance?
No, he can.
Stay in
He
public.
can. Yeah, he can take the decision to stay in public. It's called, easily translated, free by choice.
Free by choice. Okay.
To stay in the public system, and you don't get forced to switch, but then you need to pay the maximum premium.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's the consequence.
Yeah, that's the consequence.
So, Andreas, next question would be how the premium on in private health insurance changes as per age, your health condition, and so on.
So, in fact, it doesn't change. Yeah.
Okay.
You get your premium in the beginning of the contract by your status of how healthy you are, yeah, how old you are, and mostly that's it. Yeah, it's not depending on your income or whatever. Yeah, it's just your health status and your age.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you already have the contract, yeah. If you, for example, get cancer or whatever, yeah, they don't take a higher premium. Yeah, you stick with your premium. But like everything, yeah, even the healthcare system is getting more expensive. I explained in the beginning that the public system is increasing, yeah, from year to year. So does mostly the private system too, but not in the same amount. So the increase in the public system is lower than in the increase in the private system is lower than in the public system.
So what's the biggest misconceptions of expats about private health insurance?
I really don't get this because so many expats are coming to Germany and choose to stay in the public system because they say, okay, I'm going to be here for a couple of years, and I don't know yet if I'm moving back to my home country, whether it's India or China or what country else, and they choose to because it's a process to switch, and they choose to stay in the public because they want to check out if they stay in Germany for a longer term, and they just postpone the decision to the future, And I'd say that it's highly recommended to switch to the private system to save up money directly. And if you go to your home country again, or your contract is finished and you go back home, you just cancel your contract and that's it.
So my next question would be, can students get the private health insurance?
No.
Okay.
Students can't get the private health insurance because you need to be above the 77.4 gross salary a year that you are allowed to switch to the system. So if you're a student with high salary, maybe, but then I'm going to take this student job too.
Okay, me too.
Okay.
Yeah. And also for the freelancers, it is also the same criteria of having the income 77,000?
No. As a freelancer in Germany, you're free to choose whether to take the public,
private.
The free, you by choice public, or the private system. So everybody who's a freelancer or running his own business in Germany is allowed to switch to the private system.
Okay. Even though he or she has Gewerbemeldung, still it is allowed? to switch to.
Yeah, but it needs to be your main income. If
Oh,
you're
okay.
if you're a freelancer and you're doing this as a side business, yeah,
Then it's
next to your employment, yeah, you can't switch. But
Okay.
if you're yeah, increasing your income in total, yeah, we could check this.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because many of the people don't know that as a freelancer it has to be your main source of income.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can't switch
Yeah,
to simply
right.
to. My next question is like, how does the reimbursement works? So like in the public health insurance you don't pay anything, so
Yeah.
it's automatically deducted from your salary and so on. What about the private health insurance?
So the big difference is, for example, if you're in a public system, you go to the doctors and you just put your insurance card and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're in the private system, you go to the doctors, you put your insurance card,
Yeah.
and then that's it for in the beginning. But then you get the invoice,
Okay.
from the doctors by post, and then you need to take a photo or scan or whatever, send it to your insurance, by mobile app, and then you get the refund, and then you need to transfer the amount of invoice, or the whatever, you need to the doctor's account.
Okay. So my next question is like, in the public health insurance now, in our observation is like there is a long waiting period, and with the private health insurance it is always said that you get immediately an appointment. You can just directly get into the doctor's praxis and you get checked. Is that really true?
More or less, it's true. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can say from my own experience. Yeah, if I go to the doctors, I mostly don't need to wait. When I need to wait, it's a couple of minutes. Yeah, but I have the experience. My wife is not, or my girlfriend is not in the private system. And if I go to the doctors with her too, we need to wait an hour or two or whatever, and it takes really a long period in advance to get an appointment, for a special doctor, and not for the Hausarzt, and yes, that's true. If you need to get an appointment, you get it directly within a couple of weeks, and if you're in a public system, you need to wait months.
Yeah. That's really true. Recently, I experienced. I took an appointment for eye doctor.
Yeah.
And she said, come in August. So I said, what? It's the June month and you're asking me to come August.
Yeah.
It's
if I would call her, she would say, okay, come next week.
Come next week.
Yeah.
1 week is better than 2 months.
Yeah, I'd bet. Yeah, this would happen. Yeah,
I also came
and big difference is in, I think it was 2022. I had an emergency and I had a sepsis. And almost died. And I went to the hospital, and as a private insurance, or as I'm in the private insurance, I'm getting better treatment because I'm in just a department in the hospital here in our hometown Würzburg. A special departments where only private insured people are treated, and not where the people from the public system is.
I mean, there is less rush.
Yeah, less rush, more relaxed, and I got a single room and not a shared bedroom. And and I was able to choose whether I'm getting the boss of department or the it's called Oberarzt. This is another
doctor.
That's another system in Germany. You need to take care of. So, and I obviously always take the best treatment for myself.
That's really good to know.
But that's also, you can choose this freely if you make your own private insurance contract. You can choose if you want to have this service or not, or if you don't care.
So, Andreas, my one more question is like, let's say if I am living in Germany for 14 years now. So, if someone is planning to live in Germany 10 to 15 years, let's say a rough number, in the long term financial point of view, which health insurance does make sense? Public health insurance or private health insurance?
Again, it's depending on your individual situation.
Yeah.
If you're coming here and you're saving up money by switching to the private system, it totally makes sense to be in a private system.
Yes.
And if you leave the country, even better for you because you saved up the money meanwhile. And if you then, after 10 or 15 years, decide to stay here, still the better contract.
Okay.
So, but if you're planning to have a big family with a lot of children, and your wife is going to be a housewife,
then
maybe you should make the calculation. I'm having an Excel sheet for that. To check if it makes sense or not.
Oh, that's good. So so Andreas, my last question for today. So what happens to private health insurance, or is it easier to cancel the contract of private health insurance when someone is moving back to their country?
Yeah, it's totally the reason why I tell all expats to switch to the private system, because if you lose your job or you cancel your job or you go back to your home country, the insurance contract just gets cancelled and that's it. And there is no penalty or whatever. Because it's just gets cancelled because of the reason, and not because you want to cancel it.
Thank you so much, Andreas, for your time. It was really helpful. Hopefully the audience got the answers about the private health insurance, which are generally on Google not available. Thank you so much for your time. And if you are looking for private health insurance, I will leave the contact of Andreas in the description. You can contact through the link to Andreas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your invitation.